Yes, sir. Welcome back to the Greater You. Always great to be with you. Hope you're having an awesome day wherever you are on this planet. So you can see here a review today, but we're going to take a little deeper dive into part of this. So you see our 7 areas of well-being that we focus on in the Greater You. I feel like we needed to go into this again with some questions I've had with clients recently. Definitely remember I do a fair amount of coaching. I probably do 20 plus hours of one-on-one coaching every single week, on top of all the other work I do with making content and making classes and training coaches and building videos and running a martial arts school and all these other different things that I do. And so, I'm always in the trenches, so to speak, working with people one on one. So there's particular questions and themes and trends that come up. And one of them that I've noticed recently when I've been working with various clients is that as we're going through the 7 areas of wellness or well-being here, that there's questions that come up about these 7 areas. In particular, there's questions that come up around the spirituality category. So that third one here. A lot of folks, especially out here in the West, they have just lost connection with it. And the thing that I wanted to hone in today when we look at the 7 areas of wellness is for our viewers to think about this. Um, what kind of exposure have you had to belief systems, philosophies, religions, spirituality in general? It's an interesting thing. I think it's become kind of a generalist term that some people in the West, like, yeah, I'm a spiritual guy. I like to go, in the woods and I like to do yoga. And that's all great. For some people, that stuff really, for me too, like it can be super fulfilling. But I think a lot of people really, quite frankly, neglect this category. So you do see in our suite, we've got over 80 videos out now. I don't know how many will be out by the time you see this video, but we have a lot of content, and that's just the start. We have so much to share because we've been in this coaching industry in the realm of positive psychology and all things well-being for many years. So there's a lot to share and a lot to teach and a lot to help guide you guys with. But I want you to look at this category of spirituality and ask yourself, why? Why that category? Why is it one of these 7 areas that we find to be so important? The other one that comes up a lot is the serve category, that seventh category over there. I think we find a lot of folks that have, there's a lot of people that find ways to do right by their neighbor and other people. However, with our technology isolated world, we do see that category taking a hit. People are super busy working, trying to make ends meet. The challenges in our economic world, which is that invest category, you can see this is a very comprehensive model. The challenges that are going on there, causing people to work more than one job, working later hours, longer hours. And then technology isolation has led to lacks of connection and lacks in the service category. So, wow, geez, I think we see it across the board. All of these areas people are hurting in, but in particular, we see spirituality gets neglected a lot. The service category gets neglected a lot. And that's because people are technology isolated. And so they're just working and just kind of focused on their own little bubble. And sometimes they're forgetting to see if their neighbor needs a hand. And then also that connection category because people are working from home a lot. I do that a lot too, although I am working with people. So I still feel very connected to people, even though a lot of my work is remote. I do try and find ways to be in person. The martial arts school and all of my training in martial arts, that's got to be in person. Yeah, you can watch everyone on YouTube you want. You're not going to get good at, dealing with someone who's trying to take you down if you don't actually work in the real world with actual people and do physical training. So, but think about this. So, the spirituality category is a choose your own adventure category. You can find there's so many ways to dive into this. We have a suite of videos that touch on this at times. and we'll continue to do so. We try and hit all 7 categories as reasonably as we can. Uh, but that spirituality category, it gets neglected. I had a client ask me this week, so why? Why is that important? And here's the number one answer. There's really two number one answers, two co-leading answers on that. Number one, when we develop that muscle, our spiritual muscle, it it gives us hope, which hope is in short supply in this world. So it can develop hope, which is a very powerful emotion and mindset and way of being that can impact positively all the other areas of your well-being. And then the number two one on that with this is that it not only does it build hope, but it builds resilience. Okay. So you've got hope and you've got resilience. Both of those are massively bolstered by developing spirituality. Because at the core of correct spiritual programs, whatever your system is that you kind of lean into, is truth. And when we bump into universal truths and we live by them, it tends to inspire a person to lead a more moral and ethical life, which then builds, the ability to have the resilience and the hope you need that kind of anchors your soul, so to speak, right? That makes you more firm and able to withstand the difficulties as the waves of life crash upon you, right? There's that visual. We're gonna step into that spiritual category, but a visual just popped into my mind. Think about that visual when, in Christianity, there's the story of Peter and the other apostles and disciples. They're in a boat and there's waters are raging, and they see Jesus walking on the water out to them, which I do believe was a real event, not mythology. And that stabilizing force, he was able to walk right through the waves and the boisterous waves, right? um, that's a powerful anchor there. If we can anchor ourselves to stuff that's that strong and that powerful, it creates hope and resilience in our lives beyond anything we can come up with on our own from our own volition. So don't neglect that category. That is the lesson for looking at this again. Don't neglect any of these categories. So notice on this, and feel free to write your own version of this down. But we put this thing on a scale of 1 to 10. And what we do is we have our clients on a regular basis revisit this thing and ask themselves on a scale of 1 to 10, how are we doing in taking care of our bodies, our minds, our souls, our spirits, our emotional well-being, our social connections? How are we doing with our finances and our investments, especially in these trying times? What are we doing to get outside of our bubble and serve and help others? And we rate that, and I do this too because we need to stay on top of keeping balance. We want to have our goal at the Greater You is to have everyone at this 8 or above range across the whole thing. We want you to be at that 8 or above range where you feel like, yeah, I'm doing a really good job in this category. Here's what I'm doing. Keep my body fit, my mind fit, my soul fit, my emotions in check, my connections strong, my money working for me. And here's what I'm doing to serve and help others. When we work on all 7 of those areas, we find balance. Today's conversation was about some that get neglected, and particularly that third category of our spiritual well-being. Don't neglect it. Lean into it. Ask the hard questions. Do the homework. Get curious. Read some of those ancient texts from around the world and find those nuggets of wisdom and truth in there that will move you forward in finding hope and resilience. That's it for this video. We have so much more content to come. Stick with us. Like this video if you liked it, of course, and subscribe to the channel. Share it if you would, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for your time.